Legion boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? Hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen, a lot of videos are going to be pre-recorded in advance because my computer is having issues. We don't know if we're going to be streaming on Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern. We'll obviously have to see and find out. I'll let you guys know. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, Kaspa, there's been some concerns recently with his price action. People are scared, and I am here to reassure you that it is just noise in your head. Now I'm going to show you why. So first off, ladies and gentlemen, when we go to something like Kaspa, we can see that we did retest off of its previous highs, right? Before this huge expansion. So very, very well, very fundamental retest. What we love to see. Secondly, right? Secondly, ladies and gentlemen, when we were in a downtrend, we had a very aggressive trend line. Right now, some people might think this is baloney, but trust me, ladies and gentlemen, the details are always in the charts. We can see that once we broke from this aggressive trend line, that is when momentum literally started to shift. Okay, literally. So we had this very narrow trend line. We were selling, right? We broke above it, then we went again here, and we can see right when it came down to the middle, on top of also this high over here, we started to find momentum, and we did create a higher high, right? Multiple times on the weekly. We can see we had to break past this high to shift momentum. Guess what? We closed over here. Then when we sold on the sell candles, right? So sell ones are the black ones here. We can see this low is higher than this last black candle, right? Very simple. So we can see we are creating a staircase to the upside. And then guess what? This, right? This was our last relevant buy candle, and this was the next zone we wanted to conquer. And guess what we did? We closed all the way up here. Now, some people might be saying, well, that's great, but I can see that Kaspa has been selling off kind of aggressively for the last few weeks, and we are below this zone, right? Is this something to worry about? Ladies and gentlemen, I believe no, and I'll tell you why. First off, if we go onto the monthly, we can see that we did sweep the last monthly candle, right? We swept it. And what happened the last time we swept the last monthly candle? We pumped, right? This was one of the last monthly candles, and then we went right below it just by like not much. I mean, like, well, 1/3 of a cent. And then again, we pumped, right? And I believe that is going to be the same thing. Not only that, but Bitcoin also backs us up. We can see Bitcoin has officially turned blue. It has officially turned blue after going up, failing, and selling off. We could see that the last few days have been very bullish, and I expect Bitcoin to continue to be very bullish. We can see that we have actually broke out of this daily zone, and I expect Bitcoin to continue to dominate the markets because, ladies and gentlemen, global liquidity is on our side. Now, some things are getting a little delayed, a little slowed down. They're a little different, but ultimately, I still believe that when we look at global liquidity, right, when we go and change this damn chart, we could see that, boom, here we go, from the top to this top, 91 days. Next candle was manipulation from the bottom to this, was the last sell candle, manipulation pump. We can see that we are somewhere over here. And when we take from the bottom, we can see 91 days. And then what I say, I expect a manipulation candle. And guess what? Even though the week is not closed, we are on this pump. But we can see we do have pretty much 2 more weeks to catch up because we are on this side of the global liquidity for this week. Next week, we're going to be on top. And then the week after that, we're going to be somewhere over here. I do expect Bitcoin to hit 120K over the next week or so, which means I believe, of course, if Bitcoin's going to go up, 10%, a little bit more, then obviously I do expect, right, for everything else to follow. Right, doesn't mean altcoin season's right here and like everything's going to go to the moon the way some people want to, but it does mean that we are doing steps very fundamentally. We could also see we went from selling off, right, selling off kind of aggressively to now going sideways, which is always the second step of a reversal, right? When we talk about something reversing while coming down, it goes down fairly aggressively, starts slowing down a little bit, then kind of starts going sideways. And of course, we break structure somewhere in this, and then we start going back to the upside, which is what exactly I see with Kaspa, right? This whole area, we accumulated in this, then we sold off here, and now we are accumulating, ladies and gentlemen, once again. And I believe once we break from this accumulation, we will be going back up, but more aggressive and more quicker to the upside. I do believe the next few destinations for Kaspa, in terms of not the smallest of micro moves, but still looking at relevant smaller time zones and time frames, and in terms of shorter term price action, right? The next few relevant points is going back to the 13 cents and then back to 15, 16 cents. Okay. After that, I do expect for us to slow down once we kind of start getting to 17 to 19 cents, as there is a lot of resistance up here. We can see, right? There is a lot of resistance. We have multiple points touching here. Boom, 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 right? Boom. Almost, but still relevant. Almost, but still relevant. Boom, right? So we can see we are going to start practically slowing down if we actually even lower the box, kind of around the 17.5 to 18 cent zone, which is not bad, right? It is not bad because what's going to happen most likely is that we do go up. We kind of slow down, but then we are going to be ready to burst up. I do believe that Kaspa is going to explode sooner than later. In terms of Kaspa's price prediction, ladies and gentlemen, I do believe this token can do very, very well. I do believe this token is going to be one of those tokens that hits the 35 to 45 billion market cap zone. So if we were even to 10x from here, we'd be looking at 23 billion market cap at 87 cents. So since that is lower than I expect, we could even possibly seeing double of that, which would mean roughly $1.70 Kaspa. And that's what I've been saying for a very, very long time. And my bias is still the same until things change. If the global markets start going to crap, if altcoin season looks like it's going to be more of a dud, I will let you guys know. Now, obviously, if you want the more up-to-date info, the most up-to-date info, then make sure to join the Discord community, especially if you also want a portfolio review. Right now is going to be the time to be doing that. But that is it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys did enjoy. Maybe we'll still be streaming later today. Not sure, but I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye. Portfolio reviews, economic and global updates and news, frequent up-to-date technical analysis, and a very supportive community. Sell and buy calls and trading education is provided. If that sounds good to you, now is the time to act. Once the markets start moving, there is no I should have, coulda, woulda. Now is the time. If you want to take things to another level, we have the blueprint that covers everything from A to Z in crypto that you need. No fluff, no bullshit, just the most important news, fundamentals, and technicals to have you succeed in these markets.